This here's a kit for a bicycle. Sorry, you guys are going to hear my air conditioner in the background. A kit for a bicycle to make it an 80cc. It's claimed it's 80cc. A lot of them are 40, 39, 50. Kind of whatever the borehole size is on the piston, but it says it's 80. I actually found it on eBay as a misprint. Somebody printed it wrong, and I got it for $50, which is great. I'm the only one that bid on it. I'm very surprised it even came in the mail, because a lot of them people cancel the order after they realize they spelled bicycle wrong. And I'm going to have less than $100 in this, because I found a bike at a garage sale for $10, and I'm going to try to do it for under $75 probably. I may do some upgrades, because there's some safety upgrades you can do to keep the chain from flying off at high speeds. So this is the unboxing, and if it's a little bit longer than the unboxing, most likely it's the unboxing and assembly. Kind of like it comes in separate boxes. It'd be cool if it said like 1, 2, 3. So it'd have like the order of everything that goes together. Hopefully you guys can see it all and I don't get out of the frame. It's not good at doing box. Already got a washer flying out. And I think I'm going to put that washer to the side so I don't lose it. Looks like that's going to be the fuel tank. The fuel tank has its own box. I'm thinking this is a little over half a gallon. It says it's like 3 liters or something. The washers are everywhere. They have a little bit of protective stuff on there. Keep the threads nice, that's nice. Except the nuts and everything are everywhere in the box. I'm getting black stuff on me. This is supposed to be the black edition motor, because the bike I ended up picking up, somehow I got lucky, is a black one that's threaded in there for the shutoff valve. Has a nice crease there to go over your bike. I'm going to quit touching them things. It's getting me black. I'll put that right back in the bag after we make sure this goes on there. Now this is 2-stroke, this ain't a 4-stroke edition. To me it didn't really matter which one I got. I wasn't really looking, I just found it as a misprint. I was like, oh, that's cool. Misprint, let's see if I can get a sale on it. Well, it's definitely tight going on there. Clicks on, feels pretty good. Just leave that on there. Make sure it comes off first. Yeah, it's pretty hard to get off. Now you can buy any parts for this thing. There's a ton of upgraded parts, all on Bob's Bikes or something like that. There's like racing carburetors and all kinds of stuff. And there's the brackets that go on the bottom of that to go around your bar. They're just falling right out. Let's make sure. Yeah, it looks like all the nuts are kind of in there. Should have 4. Yeah, 4 nuts. Kind of organizing everything to put back in there. Put all in the corner. That's the first box. Let's hope everything else is together a little bit better than that. See the instructions maybe on the bottom. I was told there's no instructions. Oh, that one's a bit heavier. Making sure the camera's still recording. Sometimes my battery goes dead a bit earlier than I think. Looks like the chain guard. Little scuff there, doesn't bug me too much. I don't even know if I'm going to use this. We'll see once we get to it. A lot of scratches on the top of it. Imperfections. A lot of people say this is just like a throw together kit, so don't expect it to be nice. There's the coil with the bolts inside its bag. Coil runs off of the crank, sensor, however that works, right to the spark plug. Let's see if the spark plug's provided. I'll have to pull that out of the bag. Here's the loud muffler. You can get different ones. I can blow right through it. Almost goes like straight through. Must go down back. And I just held on that and blew on it and blew out somewhere else. Hope I don't have black on my mouth now. Blowing out this as I'm capping it. It's a loud one anyways. 2-stroke's always loud. Not gonna bother me too much there because I live out in the country, and this is kind of just for fun, especially for how low the price was. I only got the chain not rusted up or anything. Looking for a link. There's the link. You guys can see that. That's the link you pop apart, and if you're gonna make it shorter or something, that's the link you need to keep. I'm not pulling that out because most likely it's grease, so that way it doesn't rust. I want to keep it that way. I'm actually going to leave all this stuff in the bag, just kind of go over it. There is the rubber shims, look like they're made out of an old tire, to put this plate on that we haven't gotten to yet. That goes on the inside of the rim, and then you bolt the spoke through your spokes, hold that on. Got a cute little filter, which is nice because it's see-through, because I want to be doing this inside of a house in my living room, because a lot of people maybe want something like this for in town, and maybe they live in town, so they don't have a garage to go put it together. So I'm going to put it together right in my living room. There's your clutch handle. The 2-stroke does have a clutch. I think the 4-stroke does not, but I think the 4-stroke, when you pull start it, it kind of wants to go. I don't know why the 4-stroke couldn't do the clutch idea. There's the cable for the clutch. It does look like a standard brake, but it is for the clutch. Has a ton of adjustments on that wire there. This is what I was probably going to upgrade. To me, it feels pretty strong. This goes on there and kind of loops the chain, but you can get one that bolts to the engine. The side of it's only like 15 bucks, and it keeps that from popping off. Imagine going 20 mile an hour and that pops off, gets tangled in the chain. Hopefully you're wearing a helmet. There is the spark plug. Let's see if it's been smashed. Nope, it's not smashed. It's a Z8C. Use a pipe wrench, the fuel shutoff valve, and it looks like a puller of some sort. It's very fine thread. I'll have to look at the instructions to see what that's all about. That looks like a clamp, an engine clamp. Put everything back in the box here. Yeah, it soon is oily. I can see the oil on it, which is good. Especially for how cheap this kit is. Of course, they got it all to fit in the box, and I will not. Close enough. Okay, now for the final box. And then the instructions, it looks like. Whew, almost got my finger there. Content right there. Hopefully on the engine somewhere it does say 39 cc. In America, anything over 39 cc, you got to put a plate on it. And I think in Indiana, not Indiana, New York, you have to plate it even if it's if it's 39 cc. Okay, it looks like we got the throttles, which if you want to see this opened up all the way, watch the whole video of where I install it. Got some nice flexible fuel line. There's the throttle cable. Got some different springs for the throttle. There's the carburetor itself, which has the vents shooting up. There's another model where they shoot down. That is down, right? Oh no. Stuff like that. There's where the throttle comes out. Nice got cover on that. There's the kill switch. Kill switch that bolts on with set screws. Sorry if I'm turning it too fast. Got a nice little box there of stuff. I'm still looking for the kit that goes on your... There it is. Whew, thank God. That is what I was looking for. Put the engine aside for a second. That is a nice piece of shininess. Them bolts I showed you either that go through the spokes, they go on there. Then could be a little bit taller. I wish they were, or a little bit thicker. I know it's just a bicycle, but the wider them are, maybe the less chance they'll pop off. I was wondering where this was, because we're getting down to the last piece of the box. Now for the engine. Please say 39cc or something on it somewhere. It's a beautiful black. Shiny. All the fins. No fins are broken. No fins are broken. So the carburetor is going to hook up to it. Dumps the fuel straight in here. Spark plug goes right in there. I lied. That is the exhaust. That is the inlet for the fuel. And that's the exit. I was looking. Maybe I'm still wrong. Stay tuned for the video. That upgraded chain I was talking about, chain guard, goes right there and it bolts on. Just like the bolts for the motor mounts are here. There's the clutch, or this is the clutch. We'll figure all that out in the instructions. Flip it over. I'm sure there's big old gears in there. Hopefully they can handle my blard ass. Bunch of lock washers on there. I'm kind of confused about why there's so many there. All the fins look good. People said these come with broken fins, and I'm kind of excited to put it together tonight. Running out of steam. There we go. Let's see if we can we activate that? Ooh, hard to hit, but yeah. Okay, there's the engine, which I'm very impressed that it came so nice. It means it's not going to run. I wish there was a plug in the starter. I wish there was a plug in the spark plug hole. I don't like how that's all open, but you get what you pay for. $48. All I paid for. So, there we go. I didn't see any serial number on it anywhere, which was very weird to me, but that's also nice. So if a cop ever pulls me over because I'm doing 35 mile an hour down the road, I'll be like, yeah, it's only 39cc. So we got the black one, silver one. To me, they're the same. I think I'm going to pull you guys off of this. I may have just hit a button and stopped the recording. Nope. Okay, so if you guys want to see this, when I go across it, screenshot it, and then go into your screenshots and zoom up. Or watch the video on how to do it. But it's basically all I can do for you guys. And this is a very nice manual. Really nice thick pages. I haven't seen anybody say that they got a manual with it. Kind of hoping that my handlebars are the right size. I like how it's a Schwinn bike right there. No, it's something different. It's one bike there. It's a different bike there. And then we got yet a different bike down here. And we come up with another different bike. Yeah, not just with pictures, they have words. Not just words, they have pictures too. Tells you how many ohms should be coming out of the coil, which is super nice. I'll put that right up there. Just in case your coil goes bad, you can test it. Now, somewhere in here, it's talking about spark plug right there. I would think it would be saying, hey, here's your spark plug gap. I don't know if I'm close enough for you guys to read that. Hoping I am. Most likely I will not be putting that cover on there. I really think it looks weird, and it'll probably just become a problem. Now I don't know if they're going to be teaching me in this for different altitude adjustments. We're in New York, so we're up here a little ways. But normally you can adjust the needle right there to different altitudes. 2-stroke normally doesn't give me any problems. Get too many pages there. Them are just pictures showing you how it's supposed to properly be done. Basically slide the cable through, and then it goes in this little hole right here and slides tight. That way when you pull that up, it compresses that. Maintenance routine. It is nice saying right there, if you idle a long time, the exhaust is going to be full of unburnt fuel. Basically go rip on it. Do not add. Be sure. Okay, the fuel ratio was 30:1, which I measured it out. It's an 8-ounce 2-stroke can to 1 gallon of gas, which should take you 200 miles, and that should last me all year. I think that's it. There's a little page in between. These pages are so thick. And there we have it. There's the kit. Fitting instructions for A10 or A80. A100, I guess. There you go. Comes in 3 boxes. I got it for $49 somehow. Let's put it together. Ready to do this. Got the manual. Here's my basic tools. May have a hammer in there, and do have a standard screwdriver over here, maybe for prying or something. Darn bike this morning didn't want to stand on its own kickstand, which you gotta remember that when this is done, it's gonna weigh a little bit more, so the kickstand's gonna dig right into the dirt. So I'm gonna print myself like a little pad. But here we go. So you can see everything in my house. I'm gonna do it in my living room. For people that live in an apartment in New York or such, I'm going to show that you could probably do this, haven't finished it yet, that you can do this bike is being so difficult today, that you can do this in a studio or anything. You don't need no garage. Here we go. First thing is putting the spokes on it. I'm using a crescent wrench because I can. Taking that rear wheel off. If you ever change the tire, you know what you're doing. Oh. Oh, forgot the brakes. I'm going to detach the brakes because the brakes are actually super tight to the drum, and they're not going to let you pull that out. There we go, it's coming. It's almost there. There we go. Let's bike to the side a little bit. Okay. Zoom you guys in. We have a quick zoom button. Okay. I don't know if you're going to see very well there. Sorry for the air conditioner turning on. So we need to put the spoke like that. Bam. Done. It's done. Actually, I'm going to move you guys a little bit closer. There's the spoke that we're installing. It says to put the recessed side in like that. It fits on there perfect. Pretty nice. Now I didn't get anything ready. So I got a pile over here of who knows what. When you hear me scavenging, I'm going through the boxes of whatnot off to the side. Okay, there we go. That's what it wants us to install. You guys are way too close. There we go. I'll open this. Now I'm not going to speed this video up any. It's probably going to be like 3 hours long. Sorry about that. But I hate people that speed up a video and pass up what takes so long. If I have to go read the manual, that's about the only time I pause it, which will probably be a lot. I don't like having that time in here. Okay, so it's saying these little rubber things. Ooh. Just where water just came out of it. So these all should line up. Looks pretty good. One goes on the inside. It says to cut one of them. I'll have to go get some scissors. I have to figure out which side the shims go on, this side or the inside. I'm going to go get some cutters. Don't pause it for nothing. Got me some cutters. I'm going to look at the manual real quick. I will have a different video up for the manual. So the shims showing cutting, put on the inside. Shims go on the far inside. Okay, and it looks hideous. Okay. Okay, so got to cut one of these. This looks like the easiest one to maneuver around. I'm going to cut between. Better make sure I'm cutting this right. So where they're cutting, that's where I'm cutting. There we go. Did it cut clear through? Yeah, there we go. Just a pipe cutter. Now it can go around the axle. I think that's kind of just a dampening thing. Okay, what's on the inside? The nuts or the bolts? I've seen a lot of people do this on YouTube already. Oh. I'm just waiting for it not to be fun. I think this is the most time-consuming part. Putting that shim on the top side also. It has a lock washer and a nut. Can't really show it all to you guys, but you gotta like maneuver it around a little bit, of course. Try not to move it too much because I don't want it all to come out of place like that. I did not want that to happen. It's kind of hard to get through these spokes. Sure, I get that lock washer on there. Make sure you do all this right, because this coming apart going down the road, you're not wearing a helmet. I don't think a helmet's even gonna save you. Okay, we got one in. I shouldn't have put the one in the middle. Okay, I'm gonna slide the next one in on top. There we go, got a second one clear through. The lock washer. nut. There we go. We got two of them on. Two of them on one bracket. We're going to go ahead and put that other bracket on. It's looking like a proper bike. Don't forget the plate. Don't forget the plate has to go in here. You know what? Kind of going together good so far. This is the part they say is awful. I have fat fingers. They could have anything that's not fat. There, I got another one on. Putting one on the bottom to hold it all. Goes right through. Hope you guys can see this. Nope. There you go. There we go. We got everything mounted. Now I just got to put the rest of the bolts in. I will skip this part. Just push bolts through and put the nuts on the other side. Starting them to tighten them down. It's a 7/16. Gonna put a wrench on the inside and get out my basic tool kit. Put 7/16 on the outside. It's kind of weird that maybe it's not. Who knows? Most likely it's a 10mm. Everything's a 10mm. Is it a 10? It's a 10. 7/16 will do on the inside because I don't have a 10. I'm going to go ahead and tighten all them down. They do not give you extra parts in this kit. And I don't think there's a torque spec either. It does say do it in a star pattern, which means, I'll show you in a bit. Okay, so it's not a 7/16. So I have this. It is a 10 for sure. So make sure you got that 10mm. Some people hate crescent wrenches. I freaking love them. As long as you got a brand that doesn't flex. If I'm doing a really heavy job, of course I'll get the right wrenches. Okay. So you probably don't want to tighten that down as much as I just tightened it. So I'm going to tighten all these down. It says thread the 9 bolts to the sprocket on the half moon. Could be no more than 1mm in any side to side. Tighten all 9 bolts moving across in a star fashion a little at a time, allowing for it to evenly pull down. Once the sprocket is tight, spin the wheel and check that it spins right. So I'm going to tighten all these down to where I feel they should be. If I tighten them too far, I think it will actually bend my spokes. So we'll carry on. So I got them all tightened down. I must say that's very tedious and not fun at all. So I had to go ahead and put it back on. You guys really haven't missed much. I just had to cut to it, make me not look like such an idiot. Remounted it just a little and spun it. It says 1.5 of a millimeter play. Somewhere in there it says that. 1 point both ways. I got it down to that, whatever that is. But yeah, I can always tighten it. But as you tighten one, see that one's a bit loose looking. Yeah, it loosens another one. If you just keep tightening them, you're gonna have a problem because you're gonna bend your spokes. As far as I can tell. So next it says to mount the motor. This bike is having such a problem standing up. I'm going to tighten that one I just showed you guys was a bit loose. Install the tire. Actually, I'm going to take the tire back off after I tighten that last one. That way the bike will sit down. Yeah. Does that all look tight? Good. Okay. So that does that. You know, I don't even think it would stay put if I took the tire off. So I'm going to just put it on, put the tire on all the way. If I can get it back off. Come on. I had to put the chain back on. I just kind of threw it in there a little bit ago and didn't put the chain on. Now I'm redoing my work here. Actually, I could just put that in there because I don't feel like taking out the link on the chain, the new chain that's going in. So most likely, I will be taking this off again. Just going to tighten the nuts down finger tight. Now we're going to flip the bike that doesn't want to stand. And the instructions say it's ready for a tire or an engine. Will you stand? No. Even put something under there to make that stand. There we go. Okay, next thing in the instructions, step 5. That's what it's supposed to look like when we're done. Mine looks like that. Next step's installing the engine. Should look like that. Sorry about that. So with 2-stroke, they're really nice because they can be mounted even upside down. 2-stroke, which is great for push mowers if you're doing a hill or something. Doesn't really matter how you mount it, as long as the fuel can get in there. You guys are even looking at the right spot here. Let's get a little bit closer. There's the frame. And instructions. Instructions show it just going in there. Chin guard out. I'll take off the nuts. They're probably going to be 10 millimeter. There's some wiring. Make sure you don't pinch it when you're putting it in. A bunch of nuts and a bunch of block washers on here. I'm assuming I'm supposed to share them with the back piece that didn't have any on them. Super light. we go. It fit right in there. The front one is not wanting to go around the fork. Fork. The tube's a bit bigger, I guess. We'll figure that out. And this is why I don't cut my videos like other people. They won't show you that part. It is installed right. Yep, chain comes out there to there. So I'm just going to have to widen them. Scratch the bike up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put the rear. Maybe I can do it like that. Shoot, I don't know. That thing wants to go everywhere. Let's see if the exhaust will even fit right. Yeah, you gotta tilt the engine just a little bit. The engine will fit. Won't hit there. No problem with the rear mount, just the front. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rear plate on so I can bust the front one in. They have a washer and 2 lock nuts, lock washers. Sorry about that. Just going to put it on so it doesn't pop off. And hopefully I get a victory on the front. This is a standard cheap bike too. Kind of surprising that they are 10mm again. This is a cheap entry-in bike. I'm surprised that it doesn't fit around that. Because normally this bar is about that size. Okay, just finger tightening it. Now I'm going to push on that front. What if it has a different bracket? No, because that bracket don't come off. And that ain't gonna mount on there. Said there was another way of mounting it where you put a screw straight through there. That ain't this type of bike. But I think if I get it down hard enough, I've put a piece of bracket in there. Because right there it fits pretty well. Yeah, and that's going to miss. I'm assuming everything's going to be mounted off the back bracket. Because this one ain't fitting. Not even close. Not even close. Okay. Guess we're going to mount it down as good as we can mount it right where it wants to go. I'll have to put my own little bracket in there. Kind of sucks, but whatever. Get yourself a 10mm to do this back, because it's going to be the only one holding this bike together. This is a bad time for a Christmas. Hopefully with the torque, this back motor mount will hold. I'm going to put it on there really good. Not as good as what the manual wants, but can't have this sucker moving. You know what? I have a 10mm deep well. Get yourself a 10mm deep well to do this. Here's deep well. If you don't know what deep well is, you need deep well because the thread is so thick that this one would bottom out, which is what I got to use to start it. You know what? That tightened down pretty well. Oh geez, I don't want to move. I hope that's where the muffler's got to go. Yeah. We'll adjust it all later. Next is, I'm going to put the spark plug in because I don't want any dirt falling down in there. Came in a little kit. Don't need any problems with that. Put it in there just a little bit. Okay, next on the instructions is it's mounted, shows it going around the bracket, no problem. Obviously we got a problem there. Showed a screw going through the front of that or on the back of it, either one. Also came really close to hitting the bracket for the sprocket for the one that was factory installed. Don't know. The bike has gotten super heavy. I accidentally keep pulling out my charge cord, which shuts off the GoPro. It's kind of annoying me a little bit. There we got the carburetor in that little kit. Got the glad that comes clear apart. There's your kill switch, the cord that you have to run. Just opening the part of the kit that we didn't open on the unboxing, and the throttles. Thank goodness I have these type of handlebars. They go way in, so obviously you need your brakes still. So all this stuff's going to go way in. Still going to have my shifters. What's the bike doing now? I swear this bike does not want this. You just fall over. So we're going to cut off the original handlebar, them, and hopefully these slide on. They go in pretty far. Then we got cables and whatnot to hook up. Seen people do this with air before. I don't have air. Oh, they cut right through. Try not to cut my shifter. Yeah, I've seen a person shoot air down there and it just pops them right off. There we go. That little shim there so they wouldn't rub together. This normally has a set screw. Right there's a set screw. Take that off, it'll slide. So will this. Let's see if it's even the right size first. This is the throttle. Good. They're the exact same size and it doesn't want to go on there, so that means a little bit of grease, it'll go right on. That's that side. I had to cut this other side off. some good stuff. The only time they don't come off is when you want them to come off. My normal bike, you go around a turn if you grab them too tight, fly right off. Perfect. There we go. They don't tell you in the instructions, but you got to move all this stuff inward. I'm going to move it all the way in. Set it in, and then make sure you don't lose your caps. Don't want all that filling up with water and ice outside. I don't know if I got an Allen wrench that big or not. No, I'm going to have to go get a kit. So you got to remove that. And then we got an Allen head right there. I'd probably have that one. Yeah, I got that one. See? Oh, it just slides right off. Make sure it's not putting too much tension on your cables if you plan on still using them. I gotta go get a bigger Allen wrench to do that. So we have upgraded from a standard kit to now needing parts that are from a little bit nicer kit to get the job done. I'll tell you guys what Allen wrench it is, if I even have it. Yeah. I gotta go get a different kit yet. Oh, here's a really little one. And that was the winner. This is a 5mm to do that. And no freaking clue on what that was. Came from a kit that I used to do works my printer. So if you gotta move these 5mm, let's just want to break them off. There we go. Move them all the way in. I'll install the rest of that stuff and then move them wherever we need them after that. Okay, that's all the further it wants to go in. I'm going to use this as the holder. May look a little bit weird when I'm done. I like this bike had so much room up here to put my GoPro and all that when I'm up in the mountains. There we go. Putting that right there. Hopefully that's enough room. Okay, so we'll need a throttle and this. And that isn't enough room. Holy cow. How does that even go in there? Oh, when I cut it apart, we'll run the throttle wire. That's still not enough. Oh, and the nut came off. Shoot, the whole bolt came out. Okay, I got that way up there. There we go. That ain't enough room. I don't know what to tell it. Okay, now we're ready for the throttle. Which the throttle goes on the right side. Good thing. Good thing. Good thing I caught on to that. I'm being a left-hander. My dad would have been real proud. All you people are laughing at me. Pretty good for a $10 bike so far. Okay. Move this over a little bit. There we go. enough room. Something like that. Okay, so I gotta tear this apart. Looks like a Phillips. Looks like I'm gonna need a drill bit, because instead of giving us a set screw, they gave us a set pin. That ain't cool. Not cool. So this goes in here. There we go. Yep, goes right in there. That's your throttle. Then this goes on top of it to secure it all in. So we need, we got enough room. There's your throttle. And the set pin is directly on top. I kind of want to angle it a little bit. But we also don't know how far this goes onto. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay. So we need it. That's on all the way. We need the hole to be where the old mount was. I wonder if it tells us what size hole it needs to be. It's very hard to drill into a round bar. Okay, there's the spot for the hole. See if it says anything in the instructions. So this whole time I've been putting on the right side, no problem, because I'm eventually going to get to that step. It actually says mount the clutch lever. So I'm going to switch to the actual step. It's telling me to mount clutch lever and then run the clutch clear down to the engine. So we're going to skip over to that and drill this hole a little bit later. So the clutch, that's throttle cable. Clutch must be over here. There we go. Bounce. Not much different from a normal brake lever. Pretty heavy duty too. Let's see what size this is. And it is smaller yet. It ends up coming out of my kit. My kit of stuff for the printer. So I can't tell you guys what size it is. I just buy a whole kit of metric. That's actually the wrong screw. The screw's right there, and it looks like it's going to be the same size, a 5mm. What I was tearing apart was actually what holds the lever on. Now the clutch does have a, so it's idling and warming up. Pretty nice. Especially for a cheap kit. And the size is a 5. It's the same size. That's nice. Very nice. So, gotta loosen it, get it to go on. It's saying to grease the handlebars up. I may water them down, but I'm not greasing them. Grease doesn't disappear. I don't want to have to worry when I'm driving this of something happening. Now I'm going to sit on here and figure out, do I want the brake on top or the clutch? Or do I want this in between? I think my preference is going to be this out. think I want it like that. So the clutch is on the top or bottom. I think I want it on the top. So then when I'm riding, there we go. I can pull the brake or I can pull the clutch. I think I may just tilt it down a little bit more. Yeah, I can still get the brake. Clutch is right there. Tilt it down just a little bit more to try it out. Yeah, that's about max right there. Clutch is still there. So let's mount it right there. Actually, we need to slide this in. That's all that goes on this side. Once I put that on, I never want to take it off. Yeah, I'm going to have to water that up a little bit to get that to go on. The bike will just stand bike. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of water on there to get it on. That should slide on all the way. Okay, douse it with a little bit of water. There we go. It does look a little bit weird because it has a flare on there. This blanket that I have down, the towel, has glue on it. I keep stepping on it. The end cap is spinning. Okay. Okay, bike. Jesus. I'm doing that little hole. Then you want to fall over. Spot lower for you. Sorry about that, guy. I think a kickstand would just work, but there. Working for this minute. I'm going to release this and make it go up against what we just put on. Tighten that down for its new home. Yeah, it feels really strong. Nice. I can still grab both from where I'm sitting. Get back up where it was. And tighten her down 5mm. There we go. Clutch lever. Huh. What did it strip itself out? So it stripped itself out. No matter what we do, it's not going to tighten down. Great, great products. They went into aluminum, total junk. So we'll just let it sit there and vibrate its whole life. So we're going to put the brake lever up against it, which is made out of plastic. Put the bolt through it. It actually has a nut for this one. There should have been a nut for the other one. What in the world? I think I put that through wrong. No, I didn't. Oh, the nut goes in there backwards? Oh, that's weird. The nut head actually goes in first, and it uses the plastic to hold it tight for you. Doesn't move. It's alright. So as I'm on the bike, clutch, brake, and my brakes still work good. So There we go. Remember, it was 5mm. Do both of them. Don't over tighten this one like I did. And now we put the throttle cable in. Comes all raveled up. Kind of looks like just standard brake cable for a bike. Now you're going to want to figure out how you want to route this. Make sure it moves, just in case you have a rusty one. Put that cable through. This should be the simplest part. Turn this so these lines line up. See that has a little crease in it. Then there's a crease on this, which is an adjuster, and then there's a crease in this to this. And I just unplugged you. Welcome back. I hate pulling out my power cord because then it just shuts off, which is great for my 3D printer. So we're going to put that little nub through there. There, that's how easy that is. Never have all that lined up because it could potentially come out. And there we go, throttle cable. You guys can see this. See my cable. You see it pulling it? Cool. Now we're going to wrap this down the right side of the bike. I'll move you guys in a minute. Try not to unplug it. I'm going to pre-do something and then show you guys how I did it. Okay, let's move you without pulling out a power cord. I got you on a little power bank. So I wrapped it down the right side of the bike. Fit and finish will be at the end once I know everything works. God, look how long that cable is. It goes here, clear out there. May have to do something with that. And then you guys slide it through this little eyelet. And then it just fits tight in there. Make sure that's right, because that's your clutch. If not, you'll never stop. And then this, oh, I just pulled the power again. Will it come back on? Nope, you guys shut right off. So this, I don't know if it's supposed to be mounted facing, like, the back of the bike for some reason. I really think, they do show you a picture. Again, I'll have a link to a different video of the instructions. It shows it kind of going straight to it. I see there's a spring in there. I did see that spring. So we have two different springs. I think one spring is for the throttle. I'm going to keep that one out. I think this one is for what we're doing. So I'm going to put that spring on there. And then slide that through. Through this little hole. If I loosen this screw up a little bit, then it... I'm going to need a pair of pliers to pull on that to make it tight. Need to pull it until the throttle's right there. Or not the throttle, the cable. See how this is loose? You don't want that loose or it's never going to pull it. So put it where it needs to go. Tight. Pull that until your cord is tight, and then tighten your set screw. Me, I don't think that's perfect. I think it could go a little bit tighter. You don't want it fully pulling it because then you will have problems with your clutch. I don't know if they tell you that in the manual or not. Let's see if I can pull the clutch. Should be able to reach in here and spin that freely, and I can't. It does pull it. but the gear in there is still locked. See if I pull it further if it's disengaged. Nope, still not disengaged. Let's see what it says in the instructions. Screw the fuel valve. Wrong one. Here's what the clutch connection should look like at the motor. So they want that all the way loose. See, it's straight right there, but the spring is straight too. Seven, 8. They already show the carburetor installed. If the carburetor doesn't get installed till the final step. I'm thinking that's on there how it's supposed to be. Here, I'll loosen it up and see if the clutch disengages, but most likely it doesn't. Well, we also have to take that bracket off, this cover off pretty soon. We'll inspect it then. Okay, so now it wants the fuel tank installed. We'll do the fuel tank last. I want to make sure everything works right, chain gets installed and all that. Now we're going to install the coil. I gotta find the coil first. Found the coil. Coil looks like a little thing with wires hanging off of it. Pretty simple stuff. That's a coil. CDI, whatever you want to call it. And that's probably not going to mount on there, is it? The zip tie it or something. I may have to mount it off the top bracket. Let's see. No, they'll barely mount. Barely. They don't give you anything good for this to mount it with. So, I think I'm going to put the exhaust on first. So that way I know everything fits right. I'm kind of saying screw it to the instructions for now because they're not proper. So it looks like we need the 5mm again. And we do. So you're definitely going to need a 5mm hex head and a 10mm shallow and deep. I haven't used the deep one, but I almost did, and you would need it down here, the engine mount. Also, if you're looking at hex heads, look at rounded ones. See, the bar's kind of in my way, but since I have a rounded one, I can get to it from the side. There we go. Came with a little cork gasket. That's going to get super hot. You definitely want that on there. Putting that on the exhaust. Wish it was a more fit finish there, but it's alright. Not a Mercedes. Everything is so painted that nothing wants to work right here. I'm thinking how I'm going to get that. I almost should have put the exhaust on before I even put this on here, because I don't know how I'm going to get to that left nut. I'm going to have to loosen the engine back up. There we go, guys started finally. that one started, but can I? Oh, the exhaust is out of the way. I don't think they really thought of that. They just got lucky. Not going to over tighten these because going into just a little engine. You can always tighten them later. I mean, tighten them if you see something loose. There. Got a little bit of a gap between both these pipes. I may put a shim in there, a piece of leather or something if it's vibrating. But like everything, pretty fit. So now onward to the coil. Looks like it's going to be a Phillips head. I'm going to go ahead and put that on there so this thing quits falling off. And that thing needs to be like that, but these wires go down and connect to these. But you want them clear of the exhaust, so we're going to put them on the back side. Looks like the third wire is probably going to be a kill switch. Actually have the kill switch right here, and we have a black wire that has the same head as the other one. I wonder if it goes into the coil to kill it. No, it does not. So how does the kill switch work? Guess we'll find out when we get to that step. These are... Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. Look. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it looked like a spade terminal, but the opposite side. A spade would slide into there. It's actually different, two circles. So that's pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to route these up to where the exhaust doesn't hit. Blue, I'm assuming, goes into blue. If I can get it in there. Slides right in there. White doesn't go anywhere. And black goes to black. Black gray. You put it in the wrong one. That's blue. Slide it in the blue one. That would have been an awful diagnostic. What's wrong? Oh, I didn't get my colors matched up right. Okay. Now we can mount that based on them wires. Right there's looking good. It's out of the way of everything. I was going to try to mount it up here, but the wires aren't long enough, which is perfectly fine to me. And these are tiny. They're probably going to be a 5.5 because it's the only socket I don't have. They turn out to be a 9/32. What odd size. 9/32. So this bracket goes on here like this. If you guys can see that. Good enough. Screw this nut on there. And the other nut. Mount that up high, but don't pull the wires too tight. At least I got them away from the exhaust. If I could tilt that. Nah. You gotta remember you got your knees. Your kneecaps are gonna be moving right here, so you don't want anything sticking out. I'm not going to tighten this too much because this piece of metal right here is so chintzy. I bet I could break it. And this coil is plastic housing, so gonna move. That moved a little. Let's tighten it down a little bit more. Does it move? No. So we still have a white cord that hopefully will be told to us in the instructions of what to do. Okay. Now we have our coil mounted. I'm going to go ahead and put the spark plug in all the way because I may forget. In the toolkit it did come with a spark plug tool. Yep, spark plug tool. Yep. So we should have put that on before we put it in. That's a spark plug socket. And here's good old Allen wrench. Now we're going to have to... That engine is in there. I have to find the wrench that fits down in there. It turned out to be a 3/4, but man, putting this in like this, I feel retarded. It's working, but I have like standards. So if I was you guys, put the spark plug in first. I could feel it getting tight. Guess if it gets loose, I'll find out. My crotch will be getting a hefty blowback. Got my crotch will be on fire or something. It's in there pretty good. I've seen the washer in there locked down. There we go. Put the spark plug lead back on. Should feel it click. You don't need to take off that cap. That's way back in the day. Nobody does that anymore. I felt it click that time. Didn't feel it the first time. Okay, let's get the chain on. Who cares what it thinks the instructions are next, because as you can see, it's putting the spark plug in, which is a problem. So let's go ahead and take this cover off, put the chain on. Which it's weird that this is the next step when this is already mounted. And this, I'm just going to tear it apart and make sure it's working right anyways. Because I don't think it is. And you can't get it off. Way to go. Yeah, it says take that off, put the chain on, remove the 3 screws, also remove the spark plug. Huh. And also remove the spark plug. Read that. Side cover and also remove the spark plug. Oh, are we timing it? Gonna make sure the timing's right on it or something. So, get myself a screwdriver right now. Standard one. Maybe I can get that off. Yeah. That one did not even have any tightness to it. It's because they're painted. The more I think about it, the more I think them instructions are total bogus. Because I'm taking this off after this is already installed, per the instructions. Me, I think I should have hooked up the chain a long time ago. No, that's all just falling apart into my hands. We don't know what we're getting into when we pull this off. Since this wasn't working, I'm going to go ahead and undo that because, you know what, no, it's alright. Wish this wasn't painted, because I can't see a single thing in there, except, well, a nut just fell out, a painted nut. Oh, it was the back side. Well, that's nice, it's not just screwed into a housing, it's screwed into a nut. The screw that I'm taking out. And there we go, there is it pushes that in, disengages it. See how it's locked right now? That pushes on this, pushes that in, and that freewheels this. We have yet to see this freewheel. It's locked right now. I don't think I could push that in with my finger. No. Yeah, that's just a rolling thing there. Rolls. Okay, let's put on the chain. Now it's wanting me to pull out that link. Guess we'll pull out the link. I'm feeling that this is going to be way too long. You do have a tensioner. So, the way to pull out a link on chain is, chain looks totally normal except for one spot, possibly two. Pop that clip out. Then you can, then it's a loose chain. I'll show you in a bit. This one's it took me a little bit to get it off. I'm taking the chain link out. It's so long. There we go. Is this coming that way? That just falls off. Woo! And then it fell apart. I was going to show you guys what goes on, but there's the other half. It keeps that half on there. You guys see the whole bike? Yeah, you can. Oh, and then the whole link fell out. Wait a minute. So I'm going to want it to end right here. Let's put it around the sprocket. Should have remounted the rear tire because I'm a bit. Wonder why they want you to take that off. That won't free spin. So how are you going to get this on there? Because it fits perfectly. I would say the instructions are the stupidest part of this whole kit. See the gap between here? This bolt hole and that? You can't get this in there. Oh my god, if I almost break it. No, you can't. Which is good, so it won't pop off, but we're going to have to feed it through. Because there ain't no turning that. What if I want me to pop that whole gear off? I wonder if that's what this puller's for. They gave me a puller, and I was very baffled on why they gave me a puller. They gave me that. Is that what this is? No. I still have yet to figure out why they gave me a puller. That is to pull that. Why? Why do I need to pull this? This is ridiculous. Where's the instructions saying I need to pull that off? Nowhere. Nowhere in the instructions does it say that. If that would stinking push in, I can take that nut off there. Take it off and see what it does, I guess. Since they gave me a puller for some reason. Jesus, socket is it gonna be? There we go. Turned out to be a 3/4. It's weird, everything's English. That's compression. You know what? We're going to use that to feed the chain through. Take the spark plug out if you don't want so much compression coming back at you. There we go. Fed it through. Don't know if that's the plan they had. Do not have any clue why they gave me a puller. Thanks for giving me a puller. By the end of this video I'll be saying, crap, I should have done that. So we're going to link this up. Chain's too long. Way too long. So we're going to have to take out a lot of links, and that ain't easy. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see how much slack is in it. So I gotta go cut a link out. You need a grinder for that. A grinder. I have a grinder, but for this being an easy job to just throw together in a day, not happening. I'm going to go cut a link off. What you do... I need to see how many links I need to cut off. Take that back one. God, I need so many links cut off. I need 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're going to install this. So that way we know. So I didn't really care for this. There is an upgrade that I'll probably get if I care to use this thing ever again. It bolts onto here. And it goes down like this, which is super nice because you really gotta trust this thing. So if we install this, then we can get a perfect estimate on how many we need to cut out. Just taking off the screws and such. Looks like it's going to be a 10mm again for this, and probably a 10 on the other side too. If you guys can see what I'm doing now. Just taking the nuts and bolts out. So the picture, we want to it shows it going inward. That'll be nice, so if it pops off, it grabs the tire instead of grabbing my leg. Grab the tire, stop the tire at 30 mile an hour, and flip me off. That's what we're going for. So that bolt's there. Chain goes up like that. Yeah, it has to be bolted on the inside because the chain's on the inside. So put that like that. I'm going to they put nuts out. So that's what I'm going to do. The one they actually show only has one. This one actually has two sets. So that's very nice. It's got a washer. Hope you guys can see this. Yep, you can see it. Washer, lock nut, lock, washer, Jesus. And a 10 millimeter, most likely. Do the same for the bottom. After I put the screw through. Yeah, this is not going together very well. See how this goes up and down? I want that on so I know how many links to cut out. It'd be cool if it got rid of all of it, but that way I don't have to cut any links out. But I'm gonna have to. Okay. This is a bit nicer than the ones I've seen online. May not have to upgrade. They say this starts moving, and when you're going 30 mile an hour, say you do 30, you're only supposed to do 20. All this stuff moves very fast. Anything starts to go wrong, you're the one doing 30 mile an hour on a two-wheeled bike. Okay, let's kind of see where it needs to be. That chain's going to go up high. It's going to be up there. And this can be right here. How far away do they show it? They show it way forward. That's as far forward as I can make it. Actually, my tire isn't even mounted, so maybe I should mount my tire. Maybe I mount my tire right, everything will go into place. There we go. My tire is where it's going to be when it's mounted. Ooh, now I don't have as much slack. We can only hope. Okay, there's that. No, still got to cut links out. A little bit of slack there. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 links cut out. 1, 2. Is that 5 complete links, or is that just 5? I think that's 5 complete. Two, 3, 4, 5. Here, I know a better way to do it. Normally you don't cut complete links out. You go by half links. So tighten this until this barely works. Has to do its job. Oh, let me just wrap it around that. Amazing. Look how much compression it has for a little one cylinder. There we go. Nice and tight. See how many links. And is it going to be an off link? course it's going to be an off length. Can we adjust it to where it's... Come on, baby. Yes. So we need it cut to right there. I'm going to go get a marker. I'm going to mark the head I need, and then you just grind that head off, and it works. Be back after I grind it off. I ended up using a Dremel that I used to cut plastic. It actually cut metal better than it cut plastic. All I did was cut the link off. Oops, still hot. All I did was just cut that little spot clear down as thin as I can get it, and then cut it right there, and then bend it, and it popped it right out. It gives you, which is probably still really hot, that goes through the middle there, and it just pops apart. So now we'll be able to put this on. Should have a perfect fit finish. Got thinking I'm a little bit worried about the clutch not working at the moment, because you gotta have a clutch. Now I'm just making it on the top side so it's easy to do. You can put it anywhere where you want the link. I just want it to be easy to get to. So I gotta mount that tire, and look, perfect. And then I can slide that over and I'll have adjustment. Now that one they gave you to where you put a clip in, I'm going to slide it through there. Now if you break any of these, you can get these at the store. Walmart used to even sell these. Or you can just buy another chain. It is a different size than the chain on the other side. Gotta put that little plate on there. And then that clip. I'm going to slide that clip in, and you want to make sure it gets in this little groove that you'll see. If you don't get in that groove, if you did it for nothing, it'll just fall off. Okay, on the first one, actually I think the easiest way is to just pop it over the whole thing. There. Yeah, I think you pop it in like that. My bad. There you go, and it popped right in there. Move it around, make sure it's clipped in right. And there we go. Now I can move this over to tighten the tension. But first I'm going to mount the wheel back where it's supposed to go. And I think right as it sits, it is mounted where it's going to be. It needs to turn just a little bit. This one's on, right? Now this one, since I tightened the other one, this one decided to tighten up. Or get in its spot. Just make sure your brakes go down to where they're supposed to. I'll put my brakes on before I forget and actually get this working and end up in big trouble because I have no brakes. There we go. Now you have no free spin anymore, where you can just push the bike. You're going to have to pull the clutch in to push it. There we go, it's mounted. Now we're going to move this up to where it's tight. Wish I could move this handle, but can't because the engine's stopping it. Figure out what size that is. I'm thinking probably a 13. No, it's gonna be a 15. No, it ain't no 15. Turned out to be a 14. Should have tightened that before I started. That should free spin. Yeah, free spin. Push it back as far as I can. Get that 10mm back out. Wherever I put that at. Gonna probably need the deep for this one because them look like they will come out and push the shallow away. Now you need to make sure this is tight. This is what stops your chain from flying off, getting tangled in your spokes. Gonna have to do some adjusting because the chain is actually so close to my tire. Once we figure out the clutch, we'll be able to free spin the... Oh, I forgot there is a nut on the other side. Stupid me. Sorry for wasting your time there. Well, that about sucks. It actually tightened down to where it bottomed out. Let's get a socket in on this one. Yeah, these brackets are actually touching. Don't know if it's really doing anything. Doesn't move. May have to, seems like this bar is a bit too thin for it. There we go. Not much play there. Pulling on the engine nice and tight. It's hitting the tire. So, yeah, we're not going to put that shield that goes on right here. I think it's ridiculous. That's up to you guys. Okay, so my tire can be shimmed that way. So we're good. It'll miss the tire eventually. So let's put the clutch cover back on. And then hopefully we can get the clutch working. It's a bit weird that just pulled out of there. Nothing holds that in there. Yeah. So there was a nut on the back side. Nope, it threads through all that. So I have no clue where this bolt came from. No clue that when I tore this apart, that just fell out. Is it a shim? Not on the shim. Okay. I'm going to put that one that's all ratty on the bottom. I think they're all just fine. It's just the paint. They put a really good paint job on this. Will it last? No. Everything's going to get hot on this. What the heck? Doesn't want to go in any further than that. I don't think these were different lengths. Let's see, maybe one was a different length. Jesus, one's a different length. The one that I did not want, it goes clear through and grabs a nut, I think. It must be that nut. Yeah. Huh. So there is safety on this thing. Coming up on about 2 hours that I've been installing this. Hopefully watching the video will speed you guys up a bit. I had budgeted for 3 hours. Waiting for it to come out that other side. Just started coming through. I'm going to screw it in all the way and then put the nut on there. Kind of cool that it's threaded into the housing, plus they put a nut on it. Okay, I'm going to remove this, just get it out of my way so I can do this easier. It's a 10mm. And it wants to spin it out the other side. There we go. So, it's not free there. Oh, it's working. Just needs the weight of something against it. Okay. Oh, Jesus. It popped out of its little hole. So the way we had it was right. The picture shows no tension on the spring. We had it right. The picture is false. So we're going to pull that really tight, just how we had it, to where you can feel this up against there. That's where we want it. I'm going to do a two stage because I'm only one person. I'm going to put it there, tighten it down. And then I'm going to do a second pull to get it perfect. Right there is where I feel it. I wish that was a bolt head, or they had another screw to where I could wrap it around and back through and do it a second time. So now, let's line the tire just a little bit better. It's not hitting that. And right there is center. Chain's not hitting. It does go over and hit the tire. I don't think there's a way to stop that, even with that guard. That guard has nothing to do with that. The guard's going to go right in there like that. I just see it as a big pain in the butt. That you guys can install. Plus, I don't think it looks that good. So, if we move the bike right now, the tire should be locked up. Oh, it's cranking the engine over. If I pull the clutch, yeah, now it's free. So the clutch is working. That's good. Let's get this thing out of here. Okay, on to the next step. We have yet to do the fuel tank. Fuel tank carburetor. Let's do the carburetor. Fuel tank's going to be last. I do not understand why you do carburetor right away. Or fuel tank. So we got this cute little carburetor. It's going to go right on there. And look, it should have went on first. This hits the back shaft. Looks like it's going to be tilted a little bit because you got to get a cable on there. It's all going to fit though. Wish carburetor was black. Going for a black theme. Okay, so we're going to have to hook up the throttle cable to that. This is the nice push valve to see if it has fuel in it. We will be going outside during that part. You could go to the park or something if you don't have a garage or something. We're going to go out into a field because once we're getting fuel here, we should be able to run. We're going to put the we're going to hook the throttle, everything up, because I want to see if everything's working in here. If there's a choke, that looks like a choke to me, and it's not a choke. It could be a choke on the other side. I have to open the throttle to see that. We're back up installing the throttle. I already marked the hole. I'm gonna drill out that set spot. Got me a drill bit. Hopefully I can drill through this with no problems. Hopefully I drill it in the right spot. Oh, it's really crappy metal. It wanted to go through it right away. That was probably the easiest circle I have ever drilled, or on round metal. I'm going to just keep on seeing if this fits in there or not. Maybe off just a little bit. If you don't know if you've got the right size drill bit, drill it in a piece of wood first. I've been doing that a lot recently. Or I'll pre-drill something into a piece of wood. See, I was on the wrong size. I need to go a little bit bigger. That's where I want it, but I have to go a little bit bigger drill bit. Look at that. Better to go too small than too big. It's a 13/64 drill bit. Thinking it'll fit this time. There. And it fits perfectly. You want that because when you're twisting a throttle, if this was to spin, you don't have a throttle. Looks like I'm going to need a little bit more room. Move the drill bit so I don't snag myself. There we go. We'll fit and finish all this at the end. If it's on there, nice. Here's the That's the kill switch. Still don't know where that other wire goes. Black and white. To me that don't make sense. Black and white, and then green. Sure. So we have a white wire down there, and then we have a blue and a white one. To me it makes sense to plug it into there. Don't really know what the white wire's for. So let's install the kill switch first. Actually, it's all in one. So I need to go ahead and unravel this. I'm actually gonna wire this to the bike, or am I just gonna zip tie it all? We'll just zip tie it all later. Fit and finish probably won't even be today's video. I'm actually getting it ready to take it somewhere. I already told people I had it done, so I gotta go show it off. So your throttle cable is gonna go. Looks like it's gonna do the same thing, but they gave it such a small head. There. You can wrap around like that, and then when you unthrottle it, throttle it back. It doesn't tell you anything in the instructions. I've already been through the instructions. We do have an extra spring for something. Let's put this in here, hoping that we got it all right. Do we have a spot for the throttle to go up? Let's do it without. This is where I normally pause the video and try to figure it out, but okay, throttle goes out right there. There's no... Oh, they want the other side? They want this side up in there? Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. Okay, that threads into there. We got to thread that in before. Okay, I'm going to screw that on over here. Plastic, gotta be careful. Make sure my recorders are working. Sometimes that thing just shuts off. Or don't record my sound. I got my sound. Okay, we need this to go like that, like so. What's that for? But don't go on the top side, that's for sure. Okay. Gonna feed that wire through a little bit, and of course, it's jammed up. Yes! Okay, that's gonna go down to your throttle on the carburetor. This is going to go like this. But we need to see how it needs to be wrapped. Of course, it's gotta go. That's a lot better. Some tight plastic. Definitely want this to be new. This plastic right here, you can tell it's just plastic that'll break. Sorry if I'm out of camera. Trying to work it down. There we go. Got it. Oh, good. It's a nice fit. So I'm assuming I got to wrap it clear around like that. But that's when I full throttle it. So that's unfull throttle, and then as you twist it, it puts it on that little belt. Pretty nice. Okay. Hopefully it twists the right way. Okay. I'm going to put this on here. Make sure it falls into that hole. Put that onto Will it fall into the hole, or did I put it in the wrong place? Looks like it may be over just a little bit too far. I'm going to have to drill the hole over a little bit further. I'm going to waller it. It's just a set so it doesn't spin that way and this way. Got my hand there. There we go. I basically just wallered it around so the hole's a bit bigger. I can feel it going in there. Oh, no, it needs to go over further. Don't have to see that, but screw it, done dinking around. Oh, definitely will go into position there. There we go. Wobbles a little bit, but when you full throttle it, make sure everything's okay. Put the nuts and screws back in. Phillips screwdriver. Shouldn't have to tighten that down too far because it's using the hole in the handlebars to hold it. This is basically to keep the two halves together. Man, that throttle goes really far, really nice. Okay, I'm going to move these back over. Move that brake back over, which is that 5mm hex head. Good. The adapters. Make sure you do this because this is safety, especially when you get out the first time. I can grab it with one finger now, so far away. I could have moved this over to here, I guess, because honestly I don't know how much I'll be using them anymore. Maybe when a cop pulls up behind me and I act like I'm pedaling. Still looks like a normal bike to me. Okay, there we go. Kill switch is right there. Easy to get to. Will it work? We don't know. Okay, next is the carburetor. Let's move you guys down there without disconnecting. Sorry for my air conditioner. I'm sure it's pretty loud. Okay, here we go. Carburetor. You guys like that view or that view? Tell me in 2 months when this gets uploaded. Okay. So we have that's coming down like that. These cables are so long. There is that. Here's our carburetor with a cover boot on it. I'm going to tear this apart. Make sure you do not bend the needle that's in here. Also, if you're at higher elevations, read the manual. There's a needle in here. Now we can see through that. See which way's choke. There's a needle in here. Right there, you see that little pin that's on there? There's little tiny grooves throughout that. That is for your altitude adjustment. That's all I can tell you. Based on your altitude, you put that in a different slot. So your idle's a bit different, I guess. I don't honestly know. Ooh, I cut myself. Look at that. I'm bleeding a little. Okay, so we're gonna want to put this through here, and this is where I go read the manual, because I've done a four-wheeler before. Okay, that shows through there. I've done a four-wheeler a few times. Yeah, well, I'm gonna go look at the manual real quick. Actually, let's just leave it roll. I'll show you guys what the manual looks like. It actually shows you pictures at the end. But I was reading through here and it said remove the spark plug at this step. It also told you at this step to you can release like a strap from the carburetor or something. The carburetor, this is step 8. The carburetor doesn't get installed in this manual until step, okay, that was weird. Step 13 is the final step, and then at the very back I never noticed it. That's step 1. So that's confusing. It should be step 14, or it should be clear at the beginning. But as you can see, it's already installed, so it's not at the beginning. You can see the air compressor in the back and everything. Okay. So we're going to tighten it, tear it apart like that. It should look like this. Spring going clear through. Okay, it goes down the side like that. It lifts the whole float. When I looked at it, a little hole on the side. I don't know if you guys can see that. It goes right into there. Do not damage that needle. But I seen this clip. Didn't know what that clip was for. That's right there. Yeah, I'm not seeing where that clip goes. Okay, I'm trying to put this all together. I got to shove that clear through there. It needs some love. This is also adjustment up here, I think, too, which I've totally messed it up, so. There. Shoved it through one way and then shoved it back through the way it's supposed to go, and bam, we have it. Okay, so that goes clear down the side of this. I was just putting this all together and the power bank died, which is basically a power kill to this thing, so it shut off my power. I'm like, no! I don't know if you guys just seen me put that in there. It's kind of like the brake lever. Just put it in like that. Then we got that needle that wants to keep falling out. Then we got the spring. You know what? The spring goes on that. This piece. As far as I know. How's it showing it? Yeah, that's where the spring goes. And then, hopefully you guys can see all this. Okay, needle, just fall out of there. Jesus, you want out that bad. Okay, so we're gonna put that down like that. This goes on top of that, and the spring goes against it, so when it pulls it, it's a tighter fit. But I can't get that to go over that. Of course. Then it just falls apart. That needs to go on there. Or nothing will hold that. There we go. Nothing will hold this down when you when the springs again. Oh Jesus! So I gotta push that across there. Pliers should do that. Make sure you're not getting any dirt in this. There we go. And it just free plays on there. Okay, so we got the plunger. Gonna need adjusting all that all the way in so I can get it done right. I have to spin that like that. Spring. That fell out pretty easy for how hard it was to get on there. I don't think that was machined right. I think it should just fall over it. Okay. Get the spring. Now we can't turn it upright because that silver piece will pop out. Okay. And that spring's pushing on that silver piece. If we adjust this all the way out, it should go tight. And then when we pull the throttle, see it's pulling that? That's letting more air in and then more fuel. So we will look at this because we want to know which way to choke. Okay, so when it's on, pulling it up at you chokes it. See how it's covering that? Still a little eye hole in there, but that's to choke it. Down is to unchoke it. Normally these go in and they're grooved a little bit. This side looks a little bit lower than this side. It'll find its way. The jets are so tiny in this thing. That needle goes right into a slot. That screws onto there. And we got so much extra. Whew. Why do we have so much extra? So the throttle has to be pulled a little bit. So if you release it, there isn't a spring. Oh, they want that spring on that spot? That spring that was loose, they want that spring right here. No, they don't. I don't. No, they don't. Sorry about that. Still don't know what that spring's for. So the throttle has to be pulled a little bit for it to not look like that. And that's adjusted out all the way. So let's see if we can get clear open throttle. There's clear open throttle, and we still have more. So we can adjust this all the way in. There. Okay. Pull the throttle till it's tight. Do we still have open throttle? We still have open throttle. You can see clear through there. See that little plunger opening and shutting? There we go. I'm going to leave it shut. I'm also going to leave the choke shut so no dirt gets in there until this is all put together. And remember that this is a push valve down here to see if there's fuel in there, because later on we're going to use that. Okay, carburetor has to be mounted to where the float is at the bottom. This fills up with fuel. Now if you have this mounted sideways, just mount it like that. 2 strokes awesome that way, where they can be mounted anywhere, as long as the carburetor can do its job. So they didn't give us no boot or nothing, no rubber boot. It's just straight screw it on. And that did not feel good at all going on there. Is there any way? Okay, it looks like a 10mm again. Yep, 10mm. Where's my 10 shallow? I feel a lot better that it has that kind of head on it. I'm going to tighten it too tight or it'll break something. I know it will. Okay, there we go. Now you can get different filters for them, performance carburetors, everything. That's up to you. So now we're ready for the fuel line. Yeah, we're ready for the fuel line. You guys looking down far enough? There we go. We're ready for the fuel line. Fuel tank. You know what? It came with this other bracket. I wonder if this bracket is for down there. Well, you know, it goes right around there. Doesn't go into the screw holes though. Let's see if it's the metal bracket. Definitely not. No, it's worth a shot. Gave you a nice little fuel filter. I'm going to see where the fuel tank's going to go. Actually, we have fuel shutoff valve. There they gave us a fuel shutoff valve and another bracket. I wonder what the bracket's for. There's all kinds of extra stuff. I got that bracket on the front. This is so chintzy. But I've read the manual. I actually paused this, read the manual a few times now. That's too long. Okay, so the fuel tank is going to go over these wires. I've seen people make stuff so it doesn't hurt the wires. I'm not too fond of them. I'll make something later. But for now, we need to look at the fuel tank. Very short gap there. Don't want this to leak because it's going to be leaking fuel right on the head. Fuel line. Okay, nice cute little rubber. And I just realized they gave us fuel line with no fittings to tighten it down. No clamps. No clamps at all. So here is our nice, it has a fuel filter on it. So we're going to have 2 fuel filters because they want that installed. Probably not going to install this since it has that one. And it's a clear line, so I'll know when there's fuel in it. And the bushing, make sure you put that on there. That should go on there like that. But this has been a whopper jawed thing already, so. Everything's painted, so it's hard to know if I'm cross-threading it or. I'm going to get my awesome crescent wrench. And I can't use crescent wrench on this. Could on the whole body. don't really care which way the shutoff valve's going. I'm going to see which way, or if this thing even works, by blowing through it. So sideways is off, this way is on, and so is this way. It may have a reserve in it. That's off, sideways. So up at your knee is off, one way is reserve possibly. Won't know until we get it on. You guys can see the top of the frame, can you? Yeah. Okay. So, we're ready for the fuel tank. And we gotta go get some. Maybe they don't want them on there. It just gravity feeds it. For this video, we're just going to leave it open. I'll get some clamps put on there. I have clamps, but I'm going to test the concept of what they think will work. It was on there pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to get the clamps for this. There is stuff on here, and it puts off black. So be careful when you're taking these off, so you don't get black crap all over you. You guys watched the box opening. They gave these parts to me so loose. I was afraid they didn't. Not all the parts would be here. Seems like they all are. We're not. Oil off washers. 2. Okay. Just sorry guys. Well, I'm doing this stuff live to show you struggle. Oh, and the other washer's on the ground. An amazing washer. You guys see this washer? See that washer? Oh boy. Made in China? Okay. I'm actually going to sit on the bike and see. Oh, I haven't adjusted the seat right. See where my knees will hit. My knees will hit right there. So they can go right behind the wires. Oh, that seat needs adjusted down a little bit. Oh, yeah, if you're a guy, you know what I mean. Okay. Oh, I was just waiting for it not to work. Washer, lock washer, regular nut. Pretty self-explanatory. Lucky they didn't give us a keyway to try and use. But there's where we want it. It was right behind that branch of wires. Next we'll be ready to print the print. I'm thinking I just printed that. You guys can see what I'm pointing to. I think again this is probably going to be that little tiny socket we used earlier in the video. It was a 932. Where'd our wrench go? Because that had a adapter on it. Who knows? Put it over here. Okay. see if it's the same size. It isn't. So now you will need a 5/16. I think you can probably go shallow well on that. But at least on this pipe, as far as in big. Yeah, shallow should be just fine. Up to where we wanted it. Crank her down. Now this is 16:1 seal at first. I'm mixing 8 ounces of seal, 8 ounces of 2-stroke to 1 gallon of 87 octane. Some of you guys live in different parts of the country or a different country and you get that 88 octane or 85 octane. Get 87 octane. Don't care what your state says or your country. I have a generator, a Honda generator, and it will only run on 87 and 88 octane or higher. When I put 85 octane in it, when something kicks on, it kicks the inverter on a little bit harder and it fumbles on its face and it dies. Every time I get 85 octane. That's on there pretty good. Now we're going to cut that to length, unless you guys want it to be coiled and the gravity feed part not work. So, cut it a bit long for my first try. That's definitely too long. I want a little bit extra on there so I can do the clamp. Oh, the carburetor spun. That's someone trying to call me. Just spit on that a little bit, but I don't want it to come out. Oh, the carburetor keeps turning. Okay, I barely got that on there. I don't think it's going to come off. That is a gravity feed. Oh, let's hook up the kill switch. Very important. I'm going to just do a wrap around. Make sure the bike can move totally. And then read the instructions. So the instructions say, I may get it running, bring it back, put the clutch, and then plug them in and see which one kills it. Because if I plug them in right now, since the colors are so messed up, I may have them put in to where they're killing the vehicle already. So we'll leave them loose, and then when we get it running, if it runs, we'll bring it back. But everything seems stiff. Chain's not hitting the tire. I'm ready to go die if this is meant to be, but we'll look at this real quick and see. Let's look through it really quick. Fiber plastic. That's nothing to do with the kill switch. Nothing to do with the kill switch. Ditto. Ditto. Nothing. So the book does the stuff that's almost self-explanatory. So let's go mix some fuel, 16 to 1, and let's see if it will run. Okay, next step is your fuel. Mine has a nice see-through side on the side. Gallon is marked right there. This is bigger than a gallon, so you gotta make sure you're doing it right. But for 16 to 1, which is the break-in period, it's 16 to 1, which is 1 gallon of gasoline to 8 ounces of 2-stroke, 2-cycle engine oil. And pour that in there, stir it up. Should come out like a weird, nice color. Who knows with this one? Just let that sit there. The next part, I'm going to be on the bike. Actually, it's raining outside, so who knows? But we're not going to mess with it too much. But we're going to make sure fuel's getting to the carburetor, and then we'll try to start it. And if it doesn't start, I may be making a part 2, but you're going to be on my head at one point, which is cool because I've always wanted to use that little camera that mounts to my head. There we go. Put it on there, mix it up. This should take you 400 miles. Just what's in this can. It's a bit green now, if you can see that. Next will be filling the carb.